We are going to talk about the React Native on Android, and we will learn how to create a mobile Android app with JS. So something new. My name is Tomasz Netczuk, and yeah, so a few words about me. I previously organized the Warszawa and CodePod conferences, the workshops, let's say, and right now I'm working here in Poldia, and I'm doing a lot of stuff here. I'm making backends, I'm making frontends, I'm creating iOS apps and something like that. And as you can, maybe in a few minutes. Okay, so I work in everything, and I am not afraid of any technology, but Java 1.6 because it's very obsolete and it's pretty nasty. Okay, so let's start. React what? What are we talking about? Yeah. So in 2013, this blue startup from California presented the React.js framework on JSConf, and everyone was pretty amused because React.js started to putting everything in the wrong way. They started to putting JS, HTML, and CSS in one file, which is this is pure evil in the front-end world, because we just escaped from that from PHP, and we are going to put back to this stuff. Yeah, so this is not very good, and as you can see, the reactions wasn't so so nice. But they introduced the JSX, and JSX is, as you can see, it's pretty HTML-ish, I would say, because we can see here we've got divs, we've got h1 and something like that. But here, this is something new, and we are putting CSS in one file and also JS. So that was the wrong way to do the web that time, yeah. But Facebook was convinced that this is the right way, and after some time, JSX is translated in that way, as you can see. So if we get the nav tag, the whole HTML, let's say, will be translated to JS in that way. So we are using just the normal JS libraries, and we are creating some DOM elements. So in fact, this is not so magic, yeah? It's pretty normal, but hey, we are still messing the CSS, HTML, and JavaScript in one file, and this is pure evil. But also, as you can see, we've got a create element here, and all this stuff are components, and they introduce this way to just to share the components. And in fact, the whole component concept is based on that. The component is just simple state machine, and in fact, we can just set state for it, and we can render this stuff from this component, and in fact, that's all. Yeah, and it turns out that these components are not so bad, because we are seeing them every day, in every morning while we are browsing the Facebook. Every like button or every comment is different component, and we can say that each component behaves differently, and we store the behavior in each component separately. So the whole page doesn't need to know how to display the like button, because the like button renders itself and changes the state itself. Yeah, so it turns out that, hey, JSX is not so bad. Yeah, this is pretty pretty amusing because everyone in, let's say, in 6 months, everyone changed their mind and started to using React.js, and everyone was, wow, React is super cool. They reinvented the web. Ooh, super. And it turns out that the components are handy. React has the virtual DOM, which is, you know, has anyone used React here? Okay, so maybe. They introduced the virtual DOM, which is, let's say, the layer between the DOM and our JavaScript engine. So we can calculate changes, animations, the state changes by JS, which is faster than DOM, and we can calculate only. And we can send the changes to DOM only for these elements which should re-render. So this is the great performance shot for DOM. And the one more important stuff is that the React is only V from MVC. So we can use React in many applications without any problems because, yeah, we are changing only the V, and we are not forcing developers to use their the best way, the best library to handling model, to handling networking and stuff. So this is pretty neat. Yeah. So Facebook started to thinking, yeah, we've got cool React.js. People like them. People like it. The components are working pretty well. So what we can do more, yeah, with that. So we try to move the this concept of JSX components, virtual DOM, and the domain knowledge of web developers to mobile world. So, for example, if you're Facebook employee and you're working on, let's say, ads for 5 years, you know everything about ads in Facebook, yeah? And this is a pretty nice way to enable these employees to start working on the applications on the mobile without teaching them how to, you know, without teaching the whole new platform for them. So in January 2015, Facebook announced the React Native for iOS only, and this is beta, and it started. In September this year, Facebook open sourced the Android version of React Native, and this is the graph of how the React works in Android. So at the start, we are writing JSX, and Facebook Facebook library compiles, not compile, but let's say compile for now, makes the JS, compile to JS, and after compiling JS, it's bundling the JS and some resources to JS bundle, which lives in the app with React environment, React Native environment, and whole React is stored in React library, the native React library with JS Engine, and JS Engine is different for iOS and Android versions. For Android is V8 from Google, and for iOS there's Safari Engine, and the whole React lib with JS Engine and the bundle is stored in, you know, in the Android app. And what we got here is the same virtual DOM which was in the React.js, and it allows us to compute and decide which things we should render on the screen, and we are rendering it on the Android UI. So there is no web view or such. We are just rendering on the native UI. We are enabled to catch callbacks from UI to our virtual DOM and to change the state on the our React Native machine. And as you can see, we've got cloud here, and we in fact can create, let's say, the shell application which has only React native engine, and we can fetch the whole app, the JS bundle, from, let's say, web or our server, yeah. And in that case, we can start A/B testing and such, which wasn't A/B testing and such, which what was not enabled in the mobile world because the time that took to re-download and spread and update the app was too long. So we can just fetch the bundle, and that's all. So yeah, that's enough of talking because we've got about 15 minutes, maybe 18. Yeah. So let's go to the fun part, the coding stuff. And yeah, where is it? Okay. So on the right we've got the Genymotion emulator, and let's jump into the main screen. So main screen is that long, you know, and here we are importing React Native. We are importing some components we would like to use, and we are creating the component called main. And as you can see, this component has only one method, the render method, and as you can see, this is the JSX I've mentioned before, and we are here. We are using React Native components, not web components. There are no div, there are no span. We are using the React Native components such as view, image, text, and yeah, we are putting styles here. So we are embedding the styles in this code, and let's check this out. So here we've got image, and this is the droidcon logo, and we are importing it that way. So we are holding the image in our React Native project. We are here we are defining the size of it, and here is our text. We can use also, we are not forced to inline all the styles in that way. We can use styles here and just and reference it like that. And that allows us to create, let's say, global style for all text, whole text, and we can import it as something like that, yeah? So let's change something. For example, we would like to have a bigger image. Yeah. So let's say we wanna have it, or maybe, yeah, 100, and here we're gonna have and I'm saving the source, and here is the packager. I've saved the source. Packager packaged the bundle, and as you can see, the bundle was reloaded on the device, and that's all. So it took half a second, and we are having we have the new UI here. So let's go back. I'm clicking save, and that's all. So as you can see, it's pretty fast, and it works like that. And let's go to the another part. Yeah, and we are using here. I'm using some, let's say, native components like drawer. Here, I can pull it off, pull it here, or I can, sorry, and or I can click on the button here, and it will open. Let's go to the some list view, and list view is defined here. So in constructor we are creating data source for our list, which is empty for the start, and after mounting the component, so the component is put in our view, we are fetching them the results from web, and we are translating it to the JSON, and after that we are populating this data source with concatenated people list, and I'm joining it multiple times just to make the list a bit longer and longer. As you can see, it's pretty long, and that's all. In render method, we've got only this view, which is the wrapper on the list view, just to make the whole view to fill the whole page, and the list view. And I'm putting the data source here, telling the list view how to render the row, and this is the method I will talk about. And I'm setting some parameters to control the list. For example, scroll render ahead distance. So it's telling us, in 200 pixels you should fetch another cell and render it. And here we are rendering the row, and as you can see, it's not so complicated, because we've got a background with ripple effect. This is the touchable native feedback. So this is Android stuff. So as you can see, with only that line, in 2 lines, yeah, with touchable native feedback and background to ripple in that color, we are using this cool effect. We are getting this cool effect. Yeah, and we can change the color with no time. Let's say we want to use the red color because our designer said that. Let's go here, and we've got red, and yeah, we've got also here the wrapper view, which holds the first name and last name of the person, and this is how we put it. No problem, as you can see. We can change font here, set font. We are displaying his title. And here we are putting the row here for image and for the text. And we are changing direction of the flex here, because we are using flexbox. So we are putting stuff or in columns or in rows. So the default one is column here. So this text and this text is in columns, and after that we are putting the view here, which is this view. And in this view we are changing direction from left to right, not from up to bottom. Yeah. So this is the view, the list view. As you can see, there is no problem with performance. We've got a lot of people here because I've multiplied them. And as you can see, the images are loaded in lazy way. So we are fetching them only when we are creating the cell. And let's load a lot of them. Sorry. And as you can see, there is no problem with performance, because we are using the native components. We are just telling JavaScript to manage the native components, but the native components are doing work for us. Yeah, so this is the list view. And let's talk about animations. So here we've got just a box. Okay, cool. And this is the box. We are rendering it here. The box is here. This is the whole code for the box. And we are, as you can see, we've got the the box is here, and as you can see, we've got this argument, which which we change the x, the left parameter of the CSS of the box according to the state x, and we are changing state x on toggle while toggling the position of the box, and this is the way. Oh, sorry. This is the way we are changing the x state of the box. And as you can see, we are using animated with Spring animation. We are changing state x to value, to calculated value, with some duration and some friction of the Spring animation. And after that, we are firing the animation. And let's fire it up. So this is the whole animation, the definition of the animation, these few lines, and we are connecting this animation here just with some, with few lines here. And this is the animation is declared. We are not calculating it in the old way. We are using the declarative way. So we can do some stuff like changing animation while during the animation itself. So here we can change it, yeah. But if we press a lot fast, we can do effect like we can create effects like that, because we are just translating the x from 0 to some calculated x. And here, as you can see, the also color change. This box changes color, and it's pretty cool because we can use the animated X before and interpolate it from one color to another color, and that's all. We can create color animation with some few lines, and it's all is made with in declarative way. And let's say we wanna change the color here, so we can put other color. And the color is different. Yeah. So as you can see, the whole code is not so. It's not very complicated. I think it's very clean, and you can do cool effects without without problem. Okay. So let's go back to the presentation. Yeah, and one more thing. Yesterday I've posted the app on the Google Play, so you can download it here. It's called React Native on droidcon, and maybe you'll test it. Okay, so it's working. Yeah, so you can play with it and test if the performance is good enough for you. And yeah, let's go back to the presentation. Hello. Okay. So yeah, to sum up, the best. Okay. So main pros of React Native, in my opinion. The declarative way of creating animations. So finally we can create some cool animations without problem, and we can propose our designers to do some cool stuff. We've got the Flexbox, which is in my opinion right now is the best way to solve the layouting problems. We can we can use XML or stuff in Android, but it's not so clean in my opinion. And in iOS we've got the auto layouts, which is not so fast, and it also isn't very clean. We've got the JSX and components, we have the very fast UI redraws and updating the app, as you can see, and we can share the code to Android and iOS. For example, if we wanna have we wanna create an app for both platforms, we can share some components. For example, the list view or maybe some cells. And we've heard a lot on this conference about Java RX, which isn't so new on JavaScript world, because we've got this for about 2 years maybe. This is pretty standard, just to use the filters, chain promises. So declarative programming is not so new on the JavaScript. And yeah, this is approach. React Native introduces the approach that you learn only once and use the framework everywhere. So you can learn the domain of the some problem and start implementing apps for web, for Android, for iOS, and it should work. This is not a hybrid framework, so we are not using web views. We are rendering on the native stuff. In fact, we will not be able to write the whole app in JS, because some parts need to be very fluent and very, very performant. And then we are wrapping the native component, and we will use it with asynchronously. We will use it asynchronously with JavaScript. And right now, the problem with Android is that the Android is behind iOS development progress, because the iOS is the main target for now for Facebook, but their developers are trying to speed up the progress. And the React Native is very, very dynamically changed. So yeah, that's all. Thank you for listening. And do you have some questions? Yeah.